for those of you who watched it. Hi Facebook, hello YouTube, very nice to see everybody. I was just saying to our friends here on Instagram, it's a beautiful day down here in the West Country. It's just one of those days where you're glad to be alive. Beautiful blue sky, birds are singing, got spring flowers. I brought in daffodils from the garden and just, yeah, beginning to think that it's all going to be okay. So we're going to get going with a really lovely live today. I'm going to be joined by a lady who I spoke to a little while ago about Microbes. You guys may have remembered me talking about this British probiotic brand where they use microbes from the soil to make probiotic drinks and household cleaning products. Yeah, we thought we'd do a little bit of a spring clean, so something a bit different today, talking about using beneficial bacteria and microbes when it comes to keeping our houses clean. So really interesting. Hi, oh Olympia, yeah, your favourite top. So I was wearing this on this morning earlier. I just wanted something kind of joyful and bright. So this is from my lovely friend Carol McEwen, who is so private. She doesn't even have a website. You just need to find her on Instagram. So yeah, one of my favourites. I really like that. And this morning I was talking about hangover cures. So they were saying about all the millions of pints that were poured in pubs at the weekend. And I actually went out on, it was Saturday lunchtime, went down and found a pub that had outdoor seating, and we sat and we had burgers and, well, my older boy had a beer, my younger boy had something soft, and I had a tonic water because I was the designated driver. But they were saying that apparently this weekend was going to be a really heavy one for hangovers, and I made a homemade electrolyte drink. You know, these rehydration salts that you can get, which are basically just a mixture of sugar and salt and lots of fluid to rehydrate, and it's about restoring your electrolyte balance. Anyway, I did that and showed. I was talking to Phil and Rochelle on this morning, and they seemed to enjoy it, which was good. Never quite know how it's going to go down live in the studio, but no, they pronounced it okay. And so I've popped that on the Earle Wellbeing website. So, and I'll do a little tutorial, actually I might film it because it's really simple to make, but it's a really handy thing actually to have up your sleeve if inadvertently you do have one too many. But of course the key is not to overdo it, isn't it, in the first place? But while I was researching hangovers and just kind of getting ready for my item, I came across a little bit of research that said that you should really avoid anything fizzy to slow down the rate of alcohol going into your bloodstream, because apparently fizzy drinks, so even things like fizzy water or fizzy mixers, if you're having a gin and tonic, for example, you've got the fizziness there. It creates an extra pressure in the stomach from the fizz, and that pushes the alcohol out into the system faster. So who knew? So there you go. If you're drinking water when you're out pacing yourself, hopefully, then go for still water or just tap water rather than fizzy water. So there we go. So do you think I should always wear pink? Yeah, I love pink. But you know, pink is the house colour for Earle Wellbeing. Look, I've got these are my little notebooks here, bright pink. Who's got their notebooks? This actually came about because there was a comment on my Instagram from somebody saying, whenever I watch your lives, there's always so much, I just have to get a notepad and pen. And I thought, that's a great idea. Let's have our own Earle Wellbeing notebooks. So we've got this one. This is kind of my house colour, this lovely, lovely pink. And it says, live, love, laugh. Then we've got this one. This is our mantra, always here on my social media channels, positive vibes only. And then this one, which is possibly my favourite, this lovely rose cover, and it just says, and breathe. Let's unhook our shoulders. Oh, let them go down and just breathe. So anyway, so you can get these, they're on the website. £7.50 for a pack of 3, but free with any signed book. So the 3 books that I've got here at the farm, which I'm signing and sending out, I have got my lovely favourite Earle Wellbeing Yearbook 2, full of recipes and botanical ideas and just lovely things. Lovely, lovely book to have or to share with somebody. And then the other one that I've got, which I'm signing here, is the Good Menopause Guide, obviously, And then the Good Gut Guide with its 6-week plan, all about getting your microbe back into balance, your microbiome back, talking about lots of different microbes, how that we can get them in the diet, lots of recipe ideas. So that one, the Good Gut Guide, is always the one that just seems to fly. I just don't seem to be able to keep enough copies in stock, but I do have some. I managed to get another order from my publishers, and I'm signing them all, and we are sending them out basically with a free set of little notebooks. So grab those while they are still there. Now, of course, that leads me on very neatly, doesn't it, to talk about microbes in general and microbes in the home. So let's see if I can get Katie here from Microbes. I have got my connection here on my iPad. So I've got Lainey, who is on Facebook. Thank you very much, Lainey. So Lainey will put links up to things that I talk about on Facebook. Obviously, we can link. So she'll put direct links up to podcasts and offers and articles and that kind of thing. Instagram, I'm sorry, we can't link, but I have got in my Instagram bio a little link there that says Linktree, and if you click on that, then all the links hopefully should appear. But if all else fails, just go to my website, lizearlewellbeing.com, and you should find it all there, including all the Liz Loves offers. And we do have a Liz Loves offer with Microbes. They have really generously giving us, normally it's 10% off everything on their website, but at the moment, just until May the 3rd, we have 20% off. So if you fancy anything that we talk about this morning, don't forget, use your Liz Loves code, Liz Loves, all in capital letters, all one word, on the Microbes website, and it will give you 20% off until May the 3rd. So let's see if we have Katie in the house. Hopefully my connection will work, because it went down this morning. Honestly, it was a bit nerve-wracking, I have to say. Katie, I think you have to request to join me if you are watching. I'll keep an eye on my Instagram channel here. But, oh, where are we? Yeah, hopefully Katie will send through view request. Here we go. Go live with Microbz Probiotics, and that's Microbes with a Z. So if you're looking it up online, Microbes at the end. Hi there!
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I enjoyed that introduction. I often drink fizzy water with my evening drink, so I'll remember to try some still water.
Yeah, still water. Isn't that interesting? I mean, to be honest, I don't know exactly what difference it would make, but frankly, every little helps, doesn't it? So, you know.
It's worth a trial.
It is worth a trial. And you're also down in the West Country, aren't you?
Yes, so we're based just outside Chippenham.
Right.
So not very far.
And you're on a farm, is that right?
One day when you can come and visit us.
I'd love to come and visit you. Oh my goodness, that'd be so much fun. Maybe I can do a live or something, or just, you know, do some pictures and bring it to life. Because you're on a farm, am I right in saying that?
Yes, so we bought this farm when I went to uni, so gosh, about 15, 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
And Mum and Dad had been kind of slowly doing bits up and working on the land and stuff. I mean, it's not a working farm in the sense we don't have sheep and cows and stuff, but we've got land and we're using it as organically as possible.
Yeah, and that's how you create your probiotics, is that right, from the soil microbes?
Yes, exactly. So we harvest them from virgin soil. So the soil here has never been tilled or farmed, or so topsoil is really rich.
Right.
And that's where we get the microbes from. So we dig down and harvest them, and then we extract them and ferment them. So it's kind of in the magic of the fermentation process, yes, that they multiply and they come to be as beneficial as they are.
It's all about the fermentation, isn't it? Whether you're fermenting your SCOBY for kombucha, or whether you're fermenting, you know, a bit of homemade yogurt or kefir. It's that fermentation process that just creates these extraordinarily beneficial microbes. And I think what I've grown to love about talking about gut health and microbes over the many years that I've been doing it now is that we're not talking about giving anything up. We're talking about adding good things in. And, you know, even just a spoonful of plain live yogurt can really make a difference to the microbes in your gut. So
sauerkraut is so amazing. I mean, a cabbage has a certain amount of vitamin C in it, and then you ferment it and suddenly...
I will show you. I have my sauerkraut. In fact, I've got two things here. Sorry to talk off camera, but I will show you. And So, here's one I made earlier. So there's my lovely big jar of sauerkraut.
Wow.
So that's red cabbage, which I find ferments really well. It's just red cabbage in brine, basically. And the fermentation, that's where the magic happens, as you say. That's when the microbes start to proliferate. So I just use a spoonful of that on. It's called Mama's Spring Kimchi, so everybody knows what it is in the fridge. And this is a kimchi recipe, so that's an Asian pickle, fermented pickle. So easy, and you can use it on everything. I might actually put it on pizza at the weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. It's amazing, isn't it? And so tasty and so good for you.
Yeah, and it has different strains. So I have a lot of kefir, which I make from milk, and that's giving me the lactobacillus range of bacteria, whereas sauerkraut and kimchi gives you the bifido range, apparently. So it's really good to have a bit of both. So how did you first get involved with harvesting microbes from the soil? Because that's just such a fascinating thing. I don't really know very much about it. Tell us about it.
So we first got involved. So my dad is actually, he works in counselling. He was a life coach, and he was helping a guy who went travelling around the world looking for environmental solutions to try and kind of work out his relationships. And this guy took my dad off on an adventure, and they saw some amazing environmental projects. And they stumbled across microbial balancing technology, which is what it was called then. So how to harvest from the soil. And my dad just fell in love with it. He came back and he said, this could be a real solution for health. And we just started small. So we started with just brewing very small containers. You have to make sure they're warm enough. You have to make sure they're stirred. So there's a lot of learning in there. And now we're doing 1,000-litre containers and, working at a higher level, but still with the same care and attention for each batch. So,
well, while I've got you, and we will talk about the spring cleaning and the household cleaning products, but let's just stay with the probiotic supplements just for a moment, because I started with this one, which I know a lot of my community here started, which is called BioLive Revive.
Yeah.
This is actually an empty bottle because I've drunk it all. And just one spoonful of this in the morning, and it contains an astonishing number of probiotics. These cultures, I mean, I can't read them all out, but you can see here it's a long, long list. And what I like about it is you just have that. And I know there are other liquid brands out there, but I mean, there's quite a famous one which I won't mention, but that only has four different varieties in there. Whereas I don't know quite how many you've got in here, but there's a lot.
15. There's 15 varieties in each, and we test them quite a lot. And those are just the kind of the top families. Below that, there's billions of different kinds within each family.
It's amazing. And then you are also using here apple cider vinegar, which is another real favourite of mine. Genuinely love that. And different kind of herbs. You've got a little bit of quercetin and peppermint. Quercetin is something I'm going to be talking about on Wednesday, actually, because quercetin is really useful for hay fever. So that's what I'm taking at the moment. I suffer really badly with hay fever, especially when I start to bring lovely flowers in. I love having flowers in the house, but I walk past them and I sneeze, So I've been really finding the quercetin very, very helpful. Because I finished this one, I've actually now moved on to this one, which is the BioLive Gold. Can you tell me a little bit about the differences between the two? Because I know people will be looking at your website and thinking, what's the difference between these two, and is there one that I should start with more than the other?
Sure. So the BioLive Revive we call it the gut guardian. So if you have any really quite serious gut health issues, then that's the one to start with. And the reason for that is because it's got L-glutamine in it and slippery elm, and these things are very good to support your gut lining. So you've got a single cell lining going from your mouth to your bottom, and it needs in some places to be permeable, slightly permeable, so that the nutrients from our food can get into our system, but not so big as to let in molecules that are too large. So what L-glutamine and slippery elm do is they really protect that layer, that single cell lining, and make it as healthy as possible. So that's the Revive. And then the Gold is the one that we first started with. So when we first started brewing, we started with the Gold. And what we wanted to do with that is to give the body a microdose of as many different things, of an abundance of ingredients, and then let the body decide. So our theory is the microbes come from nature. We trust nature, so that's where that comes from. It's not made in a lab. It's natural.
Yeah.
And then it's fermented with all these ingredients that we want to give to the body, and the body will sort out what it keeps and what it needs, what it leaves. And so what the microbes do is they're the kind of messengers. They take the zinc or the magnesium or whatever is needed from the food and from the gut and from the ingredients into your body and deliver it where it's needed.
I love it. I mean, you've got so much in here. You know, you've got boron, calcium, you've got chromium, chlorella, chia seed, you know, glucosamine, it's Himalayan rock salt. You know, and it's really, when you actually drill down and start looking at the label forensically, which is something that I love to do, you really realise all the benefits here. And, you know, what I've learned through working with people like Professor Tim Spector at the Gut Project, when he was running that up at King's, is you only need tiny amounts of these. And, you know, it's not a question of more is more. You know, it is just a small amount. And with this, I just take, I take like a tablespoon, I think, of it. Am I doing that right?
Yes, perfect.
One tablespoon. And I remember actually I started to use it, and I put a picture of the contents of my fridge on Instagram one day, and I got a message from you saying, I saw this in the fridge, take it out of the fridge. Okay, do not keep it in the fridge, because it's living and it doesn't want to get too cold. You want to keep it at room temperature like we are, like, you know, like our body is.
Yeah, microbes just like to be, that's why we love them. That's why we treat them so kindly, is because they are alive, and for us it really matters that they keep that aliveness as much as possible. They get into you alive, they get to your gut alive. So whatever we can do along that process to make sure that they're kind of buzzing and doing their thing.
Great. And I know lots of people have messaged me to say that since trying this, you know, gut health issues, so things like IBS and reflux and indigestion and bloating and all of that kind of thing have really been helped. And that's very interesting to know that you've got the slippery elm in this one. So I will definitely be, you know, for my friends who are saying to me, you know, what should I start with? The BioLive Revive would be really good. And slippery elm actually is something that I'm putting Lily onto, my eldest, because she's got really tricky gut health issues, and she's got an autoimmune disease, and, you know, a lot of that is stemming from the gut. So to try and soothe and calm that, I think slippery elm could be, I'm just saying a question could be helpful for her. Do I keep sauerkraut in the fridge? No, I actually keep mine on the side. Again, I keep it at room temperature. So, you know, I keep my kefir in the fridge, my milk kefir, when I've made it, just to kind of keep it, because otherwise it will just carry on fermenting and get, you know, ever more sour and eventually probably go off because it's a milk product. But no, these I certainly keep, and my kimchi, sometimes I keep it in the fridge just because it's easy, but actually, you know, you can keep that in your cupboard. And then the BioLive Gold, and you can take this pretty much forever, can't you? Just as a daily top-up.
So our theory is that, you know, if you have gut health issues, it's great to be taking a probiotic. But also there's lots of stuff in our environment. There's lots of pollution. There's lots of chemicals that we use, and that might lead us on to the next stage. And they will impact us. So, you know, obviously we're not going to be drinking our dishwasher detergent, but in some way it gets into your skin or gets into your water, and that can impact you. So we think if you're using lots of antibacterial stuff in your home, it is good to then keep using a probiotic. But of course, for me, I kind of go through periods when I take a lot of it, and then, you know, I might go on holiday for a few weeks, I might not take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, a lot of nutritionists will talk about cycling, and they're not talking about bicycles, you know, they're talking about cycling of nutrients, where you might take something for a couple of months and then have a month off. But yes, absolutely, Debbie, you can take it with other supplements. It's not going to interfere with that. But what you're doing is you're just supporting the gut bacteria. So, you know, it's not interfering with anything else. It's just making the body and the microbiome work that little bit better.
And we get those questions a lot, actually. You know, can we take it with thyroid medicine and anticoagulants and the different things that people are on? And it is our ethos to do no harm. So all of this is kind of microdoses, herbal stuff, and microbes. So we would say that it's safe to be taken with other medications and safe to be taking if you have thyroid issues or.
Well, it's not a medication, is it? It's not a medicine. It's a food. Exactly, it's a food source. So it's just like you'd be eating, you know, kefir or yogurt. Some, you know, people will sometimes say to me, so, you know, what's the dose of kefir or what's the dose of yogurt? It's like, eat as much as you like. I mean,
Yeah.
as much or as little as you like. It's like saying, you know, how many potatoes do I need to eat? You know, it's like, you know, these are foods. So, you know, they are safe for everybody and all ages. I know there's questions again about, you know, small people, older people.
Yeah, and there was some interesting research that came out last week in the New York Times about how your microbiome changes as you get older. And we've been doing a bit of stuff on perimenopause and menopause, and that's lots still to learn there, but finding out more about how your microbiome is impacted there. And then for kids, yes, you know, that's how we create our microbiome, is by being exposed to these microbes when we're kids. And it's really important, even as young as babies, that we are exposed to a diversity of microbes.
Yes, kids can be too clean, can't they? You know, they can be too, especially at the moment, too over-sanitized. And that's not good for building a, you know, healthy, supportive immune system.
Exactly that.
So get out and play in the sandpit.
From a young age, kids, just a tiny bit, you know, like a tiny bit every day.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, let's talk about microbes then in the home, because this is a really interesting range. It's called We Are Probiotic, and these are household cleansers, and you know they're different ones. So this is, it says it's the power cleaner. This one says it's multi-surface and glass. This one, air and fabric freshener. Really interesting. So I'm fascinated to hear about this, because when you get your reusable, which is great, reusable container, and in here you can hear it rattling. There is a little pellet in here for mixing, and then you basically get your sachets. So these are the sachets of the amazing microbes. So what do you do? Do you literally just put this in the bottle and then add water?
Exactly, yeah, and we recommend, so you pop the sachet in the bottom of the bottle, leave the bead in there, and then you fill it up with water and then let it stand for about 20 minutes. So water that comes straight out of the tap can have a bit of chlorine in it.
Yes.
And microbes don't really like chlorine, you know, it's designed to kill microorganisms. So if you leave it for 20 minutes, the chlorine will kind of evaporate. So then it's a bit...
I've heard that actually. I've heard that about, you know, when you put water down in a cat or a dog bowl, they won't go to it straight away. They'll come back to it after 20-30 minutes when the chlorine has evaporated off. So actually you don't want it to be too fresh for them. They know. And actually maybe we should do that, you know, ourselves. I mean, I use a water filter actually, so that does actually take out the chlorine. I'm just going to use that. Excuse me, top that up. Okay, so I've put my sachet in there, and now I'm going to, to top this up. Not very expertly done. And
we do have funnels on the website. If we should
a funnel. That's a good idea. I do have a funnel.
Reusable funnel.
Okay, so then pop the lid back on, and then just give this a shake, yeah?
Yeah.
So you would just leave this, and then... you're just spraying this and wiping it. It also comes with a cloth. Do you have to buy this separately, or does it come with one of these?
So if you buy a starter pack, it'll come with the three different cleaners. Two different cleaners:
oh, nice.
Air and fabric fresh, and then the bamboo cloths.
Okay, I need to pump that a bit. I haven't primed it.
If you find it's not working, this little thing at the back here, you might have to push it to one side and then the other. So that's kind of your open and close.
That's your open and close, got it. Okay, so really lovely fine spray. Doesn't really smell of anything.
So which one did you use there?
So this is the power cleaner.
And the sachet you put in, was that the power cleaner?
I hope so. Maybe I got it wrong. Let me see.
It's the orange one.
Yeah, the power cleaner. So this...
It should have slight smells of grapefruit and rosemary.
It does actually. Funnily enough, I can now smell, because I've just sprayed that, I can smell something very, very faint. Very nice actually, very kind of fresh. And what would I use this for? So the power cleaner, gosh, it says you can use it for all sorts of things. It says ovens, showers, loo, window seals. You know, you can use this in the bathroom then.
Yeah, the multi-surface cleaner may be slightly better for kind of glass surfaces, but yes, the power can be used anywhere. And what we say generally is spray and then leave it for 5 minutes, just because you want the microbes to have the time to kind of start digesting and breaking down your dirt. and then wipe. And actually, I had a colleague this morning who came in and said that she cleaned her barbecue over the weekend because it's becoming that time of year. And she just left, it was a horrible, old, grotty, disgusting from last year barbecue. And she got it out and left it in just a bath of microbes and water, and took it out and just wiped it clean without a scourer. So they do better if you leave them to do their thing. It's their job to break down grease and break down dirt. That's what they live for.
How amazing. I am going to be cleaning my oven. I hope my friend Anthea is watching. Anthea Turner, who I'm actually going to be seeing tomorrow. We have got an outdoor table booked. I'm very excited. But I remember she was doing tutorials and everything on cleaning. I'm going to have to connect her with you on these because I'm sure she's going to be fascinated. So anything that makes it easy. I suppose, when I spray it, I'm thinking it's so fine. Oops, get the nozzle in the right way. You almost kind of have to believe it's going to work, don't you? To kind of spray it on something and leave it, because it's a totally different approach. You're letting the microbes digest the bacteria, the dirt, the debris, and then you're just wiping it away. Do I need to wet this cloth? Does it need to be damp?
You can do either way. I love the bamboo cloths. They work really well on, but yes, it's probably better if you do wet it a little bit.
Okay, so they're bamboo. Nice. So nice, sustainable fabric.
And the way that the microbes also work is that they've kind of built a biofilm. So the way that microbes work is that they outcompete other microbes or pathogens. So if you're adding microbes to a surface, beneficial microbes, they naturally outcompete your pathogens. Whereas if you're stripping your surface with antibacterial, which kills 99%, you're giving a space to the pathogens to kind of come back in again.
Right, I see. How very, very interesting. And so let's talk about the other ones here, because so you say there's a starter pack. So does that have all three?
So the starter pack
to
has
get you going.
The power cleaner, the multi-surface and glass, and an air freshener.
Yeah, okay.
So the air fresheners are really key because there's so much in our air at the moment in terms of dust mites and things that cause allergens. And because we have carpets and we don't open our windows that often, these things get in our lungs. And what the microbes do is they break down all that stuff in the air. So rather than using something with chemicals in it, this is just a probiotic way to clean your air. And
clean your air.
I put it on my beds when I change my bedding. I kind of spray it around.
You spritz it around. Gosh, so will it help? I mean, I do get allergies. I was just saying earlier, I'm suffering a little bit with hay fever at the moment, and my kids do as well. So, would this be helpful to spray around in the bedroom?
Yes, I mean, we think so, and we have had lots of people who have had positive experiences with it. I mean, it's still quite a new technology and quite a new science, and we have actually got our partners. We are Probiotic are doing quite a lot of research with the MMU, Manchester University. So we're learning more and more about exactly how they work and
look, I have a funnel.
What they do.
Ha!
Great.
I'm prepared for this one.
And I gave you the one for pets because you've got dogs, right?
Yes, I do. And I would love to have a fluff ball of a cat, but they make me sneeze. So I'm hoping that I might be able to find a way around that.
So that's got neem and sage in it.
I love neem. Well, neem I know from Africa because I also get very badly bitten with insect bites. And they use a lot of neem and neem leaves. Sometimes we go to a B&B on the coast or somewhere where there are a lot of mosquitoes, and they get neem leaves from the neem tree and branches, and they put them under your beds to keep the insects away, because neem is really powerful. So I'll give this a spritz. Again, do I need to leave this ideally? Yeah, 20 minutes.
Well, you kind of just spray it around so it'll do its thing and find its place. So, I mean, the other thing that we love about the probiotic cleaners is they're completely safe for pets and completely safe for kids.
So you could use them in young people's bedrooms and
totally.
Much more so than and knowing that you're actively encouraging a healthy immune system rather than squashing it. Lovely gift actually for a new mum perhaps, or just if you're going to see somebody that you haven't seen for a while, take something really original.
And also you don't have to lock these things away. You don't have to.
They're not toxic.
If my daughter drank that, she'd be it would be beneficial for her if anything. Yes. Although some of them do have a little bit of lipase and amylase in them, but it wouldn't do her any damage.
No, not like a kind of a bleach.
Nice.
My goodness, with all the child locks and you've got to be so careful with. This is very interesting indeed. So that is going to be going up into my bedroom. And then the last one that we've got here, this is multi-surface and glass. So how do they vary then? Do they have different microbes in them?
No, they've got the same microbes. The power cleaner has a few enzymes, extra enzymes, to kind of help with that breakdown.
With the grease
so,
and... I'm so going to be spraying my barbecue. I can't tell you. I'm not sure what to do first, the oven or the barbecue, but they're both going to get a go.
Make sure you use a lot.
A lot. Okay. Yep.
A lot.
Yep. We'll do. And so yeah. So the
stuff in the glass has some. I'm looking at these, but I should be looking at the sachets.
This has got a little bit of apple cider vinegar in it. Interestingly.
Yeah, really good clean apple cider vinegar. And our citric acid, we get that from an organic, natural as possible supplier.
Yep.
Yes, there's not much in it, but it's mighty.
It's mighty, and mighty microbes. Can you use these on all surfaces? I see there's a question there about wood, you know, like wiping down wooden tables and surfaces.
Yes, definitely use them on wood. So the multi-surface would be good for that. And the power cleaner, absolutely fine for that. So, yeah.
And I guess the way they're going to work...
Sorry?
No, go ahead. You're saying about wooden floor.
We have also got a hard floor and tiles. This is a floor cleaner, so...
You can get a floor cleaner as well.
Something for us, like a wooden floor that's used a lot, I'd probably go for the floor cleaner. The
floor one, okay. And I guess this means really kind of reconfiguring the way you think about your household cleaners. So, you know, you can use up all the ones the conventional ones. You're not going to use the two together, are you? Because you don't really want to be using the bleaches and the things, because that's going to wipe out all the good guys.
Totally, and no, I think you've really hit the nail on the head in terms of a paradigm shift, and it's something that you know, we've been told for so long that we need to kill 99% of all of our germs, and this is a totally different way of doing it. We're cleaning with nature.
Using the good bugs to wipe out the bad.
Exactly.
Some of my audience here may have heard me talk about this, but I did an online talk not that long ago to some young school kids. And I was thinking, you know, how can I explain this to youngsters? And they were aged like 9, 10, 11. And a lot of them are obviously into, you know, gaming and all of that. So I described it as like a battle. And I said, you know, inside your gut, in your microbiome, you've got your good gut bugs and your bad gut bugs. And what you need to do is make sure that your good gut bugs win the war, okay? You need to equip your army with all the good things that they like, feed them lots of probiotics, give them, you know, the rest that they need, and don't expose them to things that the bad gut bugs like. So we know that, you know, the bad gut bugs thrive on things like sugar. So, you know, yeah, sure, have a bit of sugar, but bear in mind that you are, you know, you're feeding the enemy, if you like. You know, you're feeding those warriors inside that are going to actively be causing inflammation and causing you a bit of harm. And, you know, they were completely fascinated by that. They completely got it, and they were all saying, oh my goodness, we're going to go, and when we go out shopping next with, you know, with our parents, we're going to, you know, go and make sure that we look for live yogurt. So I talked about the difference between live yogurt and dead yogurt, which I thought was quite funny, that you could have a dead yogurt. So I was just saying, you know, when you make yogurt, as you know, you ferment it and you get the process going, which is what's creating the yogurt. But then so many commercial yogurts, then they'll just get pasteurized to increase the shelf life, and that just kills off all the good bugs. So, you know, it's a dead yogurt. It doesn't have any live activity, whereas, you know, just look for the words live or bio, and then that simple switch means that you're getting the live bugs.
And I really hope in the next, you know, by the time those kids come to be my age, that it's become more and more understood, and we learn more about how these microbes work, and we hopefully, you know, sell less processed food, and we, as a society, do more of the things that support our health in the long run.
Yeah, really simple things. But, you know, we have to be realistic here. There's a lot of opposition to that, and you look at, you know, the big multinational corporations, they're not going to be too happy about hearing that actually, you know, we need to, as you say, shift how we clean our houses, how we look at, you know, treating our bodies internally, and working with nature rather than squashing it.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying, you know, working with nature rather than squashing it.
Exactly that. We've been told for such a long time, you know, this 99% it's kind of been a good 40, 50 years of our lives, of our paradigm in this world where, you know, these things that could really harm us. And I think shifting that mindset is quite difficult, and people can maybe cope with it on a surface, but then when they think, oh, my toilet definitely needs antimicrobials, because that is more, and you think maybe, but also you could live without it. So you could use a natural alternative. So I think it pushes people to their boundaries. You know, what are you willing to accept in terms of microbial stuff?
And a lot of these things that, you know, they're so highly scented, and you can really smell them. And I think we've got almost this kind of, you know, Pavlov's dog reaction, haven't we? That when we smell antiseptic, we think, oh, that's clean.
Yes.
You know, we've been conditioned, we've grown up with that. You know, when you smell a bit of Dettol or something, you go, oh, that's been, you know, nicely antiseptically wiped. Whereas these, you don't get that. So you have to trust, in a way, it's a leap of faith, isn't it? To trust that the bugs are working, getting rid of the pathogens, supporting the environment, creating a much healthier environment, potentially, to live in at home. Something that's working with our immune system. And the world, yes. And I think,
you can throw your bucket of water outside with this, and it would do you benefit. Whereas you throw your bleach down the toilet, you know, that's going to be killing some part of the environment. So there's an impact wider than just us.
A lot to think about. What else can we get on the website? Obviously, we've just talked about these cleaning products, and we've talked about the lovely liquids. But it sounds like you guys are doing all sorts of good things.
So our ethos, or our strapline, is smart balanced living, which basically for us encompasses this idea of living with microbes. And for us, that isn't about extracting one or two and making them right for some things. It's about understanding that these guys, you know, were the basis of life, and their primary purpose in this combination is to symbiotically promote health. So we use them in the biolives, we ferment them with the other herbs and minerals. We use them in the cleaning products. We also make a gardening range, so it's basically a bit like a transplant. We're taking the microbes and putting them back into the soil, and then we also make a few for animal health.
Brilliant! Oh my goodness, I'm going to be so studying everything. Really, really amazing.
Thank you so much, Liz.
No, it's a real pleasure. You know, one of the great joys, as my lovely community here know, is to be able to shine a light on really interesting, you know, especially founder-led family British brands that are just making a difference that you might not otherwise hear of, and you know, and sharing more of the good stuff, which we know is just so helpful. So, and thank you for the discount. I mean, it's a very generous increase in that discount, so thank you.
Oh, well, you know, we just want to see them out there in the world doing their thing, and that's why we started. I know my mum and dad are really passionate about just, you know, offering them out and making them available.
And I'm so coming to your farm. I'm fascinated. Great. I want to see all these little bugs growing.
You're always welcome. Just get in touch whenever you want to.
Thank you. Thank you. As soon as we're properly allowed, then absolutely. No question. Great. Thank you very much, Katie. Lovely to chat to you. Have a lovely day.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll answer your questions. So if you have any questions in the comments, I'll come through and...
Great. Fantastic. Please do. Please do. Thank you. Bye. Oh, isn't that interesting? I apologise, Facebook and YouTube. You couldn't see Katie, but hopefully you could hear what she was saying, and it just makes perfect sense. But it is, you know, it is a leap of faith, I have to say, because, you know, these, you mix it up with water, you give it a bit of a spritz, and then you kind of have to trust that it's going to do what it says it will do. And the other thing, of course, that's really so important is we're cutting down on waste. So when you want to refill, you are literally just buying these. You're buying these little paper sachets, you're topping it up with water. You can use tap water, like Katie said, just give a bit of time to let the chlorine evaporate, or you could use filtered water. And that's it. So, you know, no more traipsing home from the supermarket with endless, huge amounts of single-use plastic bottles, which we know a large proportion of end up in landfill. And even if they get recycled, they're still getting ground down. You're still releasing the microplastics back into the environment. They're not taking them out of the environment. This takes them out. So for me, it has to be a win-win-win. I'd love to hear how you get on. Seriously, I know lots of you are going to be ordering. Let's stay in touch on this, because I've already had a lot of amazing comments about the internal one, this tonic. And I didn't realise that actually this was the one to start with. So if you missed that little bit of the chat, the BioLive Revive, which is the yellow one, this is the one that's so good for helping with the gut in the beginning. So any inflammation, and in case you missed what Katie said, she was talking about the epithelial layer of cells, which goes literally from top to bottom. And it is just one cell thick. Imagine that, one cell, tiny, tiny. And that's to allow the nutrients to flow back and forth. But of course, if we get any tears in that, or any breakages or damage, then more things flow through, and that's, you know, when you can get gluten intolerance and all that kind of thing. So leaky gut, you know, I mean, I talk about that a lot actually in the Good Gut Guide. So this is definitely something to start with. So this is my empty bottle. I'm glad I kept it actually. I thought I might need that one day just to show people. But I have now moved on to the gold, and I'm having that every day, and I'm making sure that my children have it too. So there you are. Thank you very much. Liz Loves gets you 20% off all of that. Now, I'm going to do just a little small section at the end of this because it is Monday. And Monday is usually Makeup Monday or Makeover Monday. So I did want to include a little bit of that because I know that a lot of you really love talking about makeup and all the kind of girly things. But I thought I'd do it really with a view to being clean and fresh. So there's a lot out there, a lot of chat about best ways to clean our faces and not overstripping our faces. And many of you may have seen my eldest daughter, Lily, has a new gadget. Yeah, get Lily, honestly, she's such a great beauty tech. So she's obviously got the super expensive, extraordinary cell return mask, the LED mask that is just, I mean, honestly, it's gone a bit crazy for them. They're having to get more in from South Korea because they've been written about in, I think Vanity Fair was the last magazine, Vogue, you know, that a lot of the top magazines are writing about it because it really works. At the end of the day, it really works. It's expensive, but it really works. But she has become totally fascinated by beauty tech and using the natural form of beauty tech, really. So with the LED mask and the near infrared, that's why it's so different and so powerful, because it combines the two. You're using light, so you're using light technology. It's non-invasive, it's just lights around the skin that give you that glow. And I used mine this morning, actually, Lily, if you're watching. But this little gadget is a little cleanser. It's a little cleansing gadget. And all you do is, if you pop your fingers in it, it's so clever. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear that? It's just buzzing away. It's a little sonic cleanser and it's super gentle, super, super gentle. So whatever cleanser you're using, you just use it and you just massage it over your face like this. And I've used mine in the shower actually. The minute you take your fingers out, it stops. So clever. Put your fingers in, it buzzes, take your fingers out, it stops. And you can get them in lots of different colours. And it is extraordinary how these little teeny brushes here and this microcurrent just manage to clean so gently, because my skin, you know, I'm eczema prone, I've got obviously older skin. I know the kids, they all love all their facial gadgets and things for cleaning, but I've always been a bit wary of it because it can be too much. Those brushes, for example, I find that they leave my skin a bit red. This one doesn't at all. And I was talking to another friend actually at the weekend, much younger, who's had long problems with acne and pimples and breakouts, and she said that her skin has never been so clean just using this. And it's extraordinary. I don't know whether anybody's tried it. Do let me know. I can't remember what it's called, Alison. Have a look on the Cell Return website. It's just a little cleansing thing. I don't know if I've got a name of it. It probably has got some special fancy name, and Lily's going to go, oh, Mum, you didn't say what the name was. I'm not sure. It just says Cell Return Face Cleanser. So there you go. So I think it's around £30, something like that. Brilliantly made, obviously. Those South Koreans, they know a thing or two about their beauty tech. And Liz Loves gets you 10% off. That's the bottom line. So not only do we get 10% off the amazing mask, but we also get it off the less expensive gadgets as well. And the Alpha Ray hair return. Oh my goodness. Honestly, hair loss, that helmet is just extraordinary. I'm going to have to get Lily on another day to talk about hair and hair loss, because it looks like a cycle helmet. And it literally, your follicles start to regrow. I mean, the men are just going crazy for it because, you know, why would you spend huge amounts of money endlessly on these really expensive shampoos or treatments that don't really work, or supplements. You know, the science is really not conclusive, I don't think. Or at the other end, the extreme, you go for hair transplants, which is, you know, really extreme. And I think they can look a bit dodgy, and of course very time consuming, very expensive, very painful, you know. So amazing. Anyway, I digress. I'll talk about that another day. Talking about beauty, just a couple of things. Talking of hygiene actually as well, and keeping things clean. One of the reasons I loved Ruby Hammer, didn't we love Ruby Hammer? Ruby Hammer actually features in our new magazine. We've done a lovely interview with her in the new issue, which will come out in a couple of weeks' time. So these are her makeup brushes. And normally when you have a makeup brush, you know, like this is my little makeup pot. This is one of her pots, by the way. I'll just take everything out of it so you can see it. There's another reason why I love it. It's bright pink. Look at that. It's so jolly. Ruby Hammer. So this sits on my dressing table. And a lot of my makeup brushes, you know, are like this. And they, you know, they just sit there. But of course, they're attracting dust and dirt and all the rest of it. And I do wash them, of course I do. I use shampoo to wash my makeup brushes. But with hers, they've all got little magnetic lids. And then they're multi-changeable so that you can kind of clip them. So you've got, this one's got the little spiralisy brush for kind of brushing up your eyebrows or brushing through mascara. This one is really neat little shape here for doing, you know, a little bit of definition around the eyes, for example, under or eyelids. And then this one, this is a great shape. I love this. So this would be very good for eyeliner, and also for using a bit of shadow, powder shadow, just to fill in eyebrows. And what I do with my eyebrows is I just try and extend. My eyebrows are quite short, they kind of stop here. So giving away my secrets here, but I do actually extend it with just a little bit of shadow just to get a kind of a more elegant sweeping arch. Anyway, Ruby Hammer, we've also got 10% Liz Loves on all Ruby's things, so I thought it'd be nice to give her a nice little shout out. I also love her nail kit. This is her nail kit. This is one of my favourites. So she's got a glass file in there, and then she's got this little thing, which is a two-ended. If you get rough cuticles, you just push your cuticles back like this, and it's a kind of like a glass, almost like a pumice stone. Really, really good if you kind of want to forensically clean and neaten up your cuticles or under your nails. Love that. So that is all on the Ruby Hammer website. And then the other British beauty brand, which I've been talking about, which I also really like, is Delilah. And we did a live, do you remember the lovely Rupert? Is it Rupert? It is Rupert, isn't it, of Delilah? Who was just such a joy to talk to. We're going to try and get him back on here for another Makeup Monday doing a tutorial. So this is the lip gloss that I've been using from them, and it's called Minx. Minx by name, Minx by nature maybe, who knows. So this, tastes nice too. It's like sort of watermelony. Very, very nice. So Delilah, they've got, this is also a really lovely kind of pinky nudie lipstick. And just so many different things. This is really neat. This is a brow shaper, talking about eyebrows again. So this has just got this tiniest little brush. Do you see that? Little teeny weeny brush. And I like this. This is kind of a dark blondie colour. So again, filling in, and then, you know, if you start to go a little bit grey in your eyebrows, like me, then you can just use this just to fill in. And this colour is called Sable, okay? So Delilah, just for those of you who are asking, delilahcosmetics.com, and 20% off everything on Delilah. So that's all the single priced items. Obviously, if they've already discounted stuff in sets, then that's not fair. So we don't have the discount on that. But if you just want to try, you know, a new lip gloss, I think their mascara is also very good. This one, I've talked about it before. It's called the Intense Day to Night. And what I love about this, and I remember Rupert telling me about it, and it does actually work, is you can use one coat in the morning and it gives you a really good look. And then you can build it. It's buildable. I guess that's why they call it day to night. So I go back and then I put another coat on if I really want to kind of vavoom up my lashes later on in the day. So there we go. So lovely things to talk about here. Just a couple of quick questions before I go. Talking about glutathione. Yeah, glutathione. So Youth and Earth, they are the liposomal glutathione brand. And I think I was talking to Ed, was it on Wednesday? Last Wednesday, I think. Really interesting. If you haven't seen that, if you missed it, it'll be on Facebook. If you scroll down, you can see on the timeline or on my IGTV stories, you know, you'll see it. It's recorded there. Really worth a look on that. This is a nice message here. I'm not sure who left it. It says, hi Liz, into week 2 of using kefir, feeling much better. Not confident enough to make my own yet or yogurt, so we'll keep buying it at the minute, but wanted to ask if I should invest in a juicer. Okay, so yeah, I think buying kefir is a really good way to start. Shop bought kefir tends to be quite mild, it's quite creamy, I think it's delicious. I use a mixture, to be honest. I have shop bought in my fridge and I also make my own. The stuff that I make tends to be a bit stronger. It's often a bit fizzier, maybe it's a little bit more active. So sometimes I mix the two together. Sometimes I'll buy 3 different brands of kefir and mix them all together, just in the same glass, just one little glass, because as we heard from Katie, it's all about diversity. It's all about mixing it up, getting as many different strains and varieties as possible. Sometimes I'll buy a carton of kefir from the Polish section of the supermarket and I don't actually know kind of what it says because it's all in Polish, but I know it's kefir, and that will have different beneficial bacterial strains in it to some of the kefir that's cultured in the UK. Oh gosh, lots of chat about HRT, and I've got lots of videos up on YouTube. I hope you caught the one I did last week. I did 2 actually with Louise Newson, Dr. Louise Newson. So there was the YouTube video that went live on Thursday, and that's all about estrogen and immunity. Really interesting. I'm going to be talking more about that this week, so watch this space. And then also we were talking about estrogen and weight loss and how it can help with weight loss, providing you're taking enough of it. I've actually increased my pumps of estrogen gel because I was taking kind of between 5 and 6, and you know that's kind of the minimum that I personally need to get a decent night's sleep. And she was saying actually, you know, more is fine. And we talked a lot about the safety issues of estrogen, so there's lots of chat on that. I know that's going to open up a whole conversation, so don't forget I've got the e-guide, which is called The Truth About HRT. So The Truth About HRT, which is just everything that you need to know about safety studies. There's lots of links in there. It's a digital guide. So yeah, there we go, lots of that. Oh, this is nice. This is from Nikki on my Instagram. It just says that you finished a wonderful yoga class with Amy. Really enjoy the articles in your magazine. You feel ready for the day now. Well, thank you very much for sharing that. So Amy, I love working with multi-talented women. So Amy is our digital editor here at Earle Wellbeing. She's also a qualified yogi. Yeah, she's a yoga instructor. And so when I do my yoga pieces, so for example, this is in the current issue, you may have seen this one. So going through all the different moves, things that we can do at home really simply, because I'm not a yogi. You know, I do a bit of yoga now and then, but it's kind of not my main thing. But I love some of these really simple, easy stretches. And the way she talks it through, it's just so positive and so straightforward. So there's a picture of the lovely Amy. There you go. So she's on Instagram doing live classes, so we bring that to life for you. Now, if you want to subscribe, I'm not sure if you've got any subscription gifts left. There may be just a few remaining if you're super quick, but we are printing our next issue, okay? So the May-June issue is being printed as I speak. Very exciting. It's a beautiful, beautiful edition, but we're not in any shops, okay? We came out of shops a year ago. And so the only way that you can get the magazine now is through subscription. So there's a link, obviously a link on Facebook. There'll be a link in my bio. Go to lizarwellbeing.com and you can subscribe. But this will be, hopefully they'll start mailing them out at the end, maybe even the end of this week. So if you want to be the first, do make sure, check your subscription, check that it's up to date. Or take one out if you'd like to get on the list to go there and to get yours. And if you have any subscription issues, we work with a really great company called Warner's. And they've honestly, Warners, I don't know if anybody from Warners is watching or listening, but you've been so great all during lockdown. You'll find their phone number on the Earle Wellbeing website. You can ring them up. They're based in the UK, really nice people, and you can email them and they respond really quickly. Not like the previous firm, who were not good, who we fired for being rubbish. So we've got much better company now looking after all our very, very precious subscribers. So if you have any issue, if you want to check your subscription status, if you want to make sure that it's renewed or up to date, please go to the website, take a look, and there's a link there that you can click on either for email or for calling, and you will get a real person who will be able to help you and sort that out. Any tips for a stinking cold? Oh, Sarah, poor you. Couple of things. I will get something from my cupboard, which you have to take. Sorry to leave you for a moment. One of these days we'll do this with a proper film crew and they'll be able to follow me to the cupboard and back again, but for now I'll have to leave you. You've got to have this, okay? Who's got their Leapfrog Immune? I have this in my cupboard now, and in fact Betty, who is part of one of my team, who occasionally pops up here, she has now, over the last month or two, she's had the sniffle of a cold starting, and both times she has taken a couple of these. Both times it's been stopped in its tracks. Honestly, no word of a lie, the cold has gone away. I hope you listen to me chat with the founder here, journalist Stephanie, who created lactoferrin, this supplement, Leapfrog Immune. And I now absolutely won't be without this in the house. It's really, really good. And again, you can cycle it. So like we were talking about cycling, some people take it a month on, month off, which is why it's called Leapfrog. Or you can just have it and then take it if you feel that your immune system is being triggered by something. Really, really good. So I hope that takes. Yeah, vitamin C every couple of hours. The other thing that I've done in the past, which is a bit hardcore, but it really works, is eat an onion, a raw onion. Just peel it and eat it like an apple. I mean, really hard, but that can absolutely help. And the other thing that I do, if that's a bit tricky, because it is a bit hardcore to do that, is you could juice it. If you've got a juicer, then you can juice onions, and then you could combine that with something a little bit more palatable, like some beetroot juice or some carrot juice or apple juice, just to kind of take that real strong taste away. Talking about that, sorry, I didn't answer the question, did I? There was a question here just before I go about, is a juicer worth buying? Do you know, I think juicers are always worth having around. I hope you saw my little tip for juicing ginger and turmeric, and that's to use a garlic press, just to press a little bit of juice out. But I go through phases of using my juicer, and particularly in the autumn when we've got lots of apples around us here at the farm, then I will pick a load of apples and I will juice them through the juicer. I'll just set up an afternoon because it is a bit time consuming, and then I'll freeze it. I'll freeze loads of juice, maybe mix it with a bit of lemon or something and just pop it in the freezer for later. So I think juices are useful. Don't forget though that juices are very concentrated, so you just need small amounts. Don't drink huge, great, cartons full of juices, definitely, or big glasses full of juices. I dilute my juice with water, particularly for my children. And I always make sure, if I can, that the majority of the juice is vegetable juice. So it's lower in sugar, otherwise you are just drinking an awful lot of sugar. But yeah, if you fancy having a go at juicing, then there's so much information out there. I've written a book, actually, it's just called Juice. I think that might also be on the website, I'm not sure. It was a while ago now, but it's a very beautiful little book with lots of recipes and things like that in it. I'm going to have to go. Juicer, do I recommend one? I'll do a whole thing on juices. There's a nice brand, Sage, I think do very good juicers, high-speed juicers, which are very efficient at getting lots of nutrients out of your fruit and veg. So more so perhaps than some other types. So anyway, I can see so much chat going on. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to leave. Dry eyes, yeah, very interesting. Yeah, HRT can help because again, that's helping to lubricate the mucous membranes. And obviously lack of estrogen can dry everything up, dries our skin up, dries our eyes up. But I'm not going down that rabbit hole now. I'm not going to start talking about HRT and estrogen. I know it's always so fascinating, isn't it? So much to say. But there is a lot on YouTube. So do please take a look. If you haven't checked out some of my YouTube films specifically on menopause, then they are very good. Anyway, lovely to be with you. Thank you very much for all your chats. I will be back. There's a new YouTube recipe actually going live tomorrow, so make sure you're subscribed to the Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel for that. I'll be back live on Wednesday. Wednesday I'm really looking forward to, because I am going to be talking about hay fever and allergies and some really helpful things there. So that's going to be a really good one. And then again, Thursday, what happens on Thursday? Oh, I've got a new vlog that will go live on Thursday. I haven't recorded that yet, so that's going to be something on Thursday. And then Friday, again, back live for my Friday Live. And the newsletter that goes out, don't forget to get on the list if you want to get that. You can sign up over at earlewellbeing.com, and then there'll be the Friday 5 podcast as well. So, oh my goodness, what a busy week. So much to get going with, but it's lovely to kick off with some friendly chat today. So I hope everyone has a brilliant start to the week, and look forward to talking again very soon. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for all the hearts, sending you lots of hearts back. Thank you. See you very soon. Bye.